This is Sean. I want to talk to you today about this new dump trailer that I just bought. So, I have been looking for a dump trailer for probably the last, 12 years or so. Every time I go looking for a dump trailer, I end up finding a dump truck instead. So, I ended up getting this thing brand new, and I paid less for my F350 and my F550 combined than I did for this. And so for whatever reason, dump trailers really hold their value, and you don't see them for sale very often used. So I've got this thing, and what I'm working on right now is the ramps. So let me show you what happens when the ramps get set up. So let's take a look at the problem with these ramps. Now, these came with the trailer. The first problem is the angle iron is going in this direction, and so when you're tracking up this thing, you're not getting any traction on this. And so this piece of angle iron needs to be flipped upside down so you actually get traction on it. The second problem with these ramps is they're too narrow. So one of the main reasons I bought this trailer was to be able to load with the concrete buggy. And so I already ran the concrete buggy up this thing once, and it's really sketchy. So what I'm going to end up doing here is making some wider ramps for this thing. And so I already ordered some of these replacement hooks here. I ordered them from PJ Trailers, and it turns out that PJ has a lot more parts available than Big Tex does. So you can go right on the PJ website and order parts for this for trailers, whereas you go to Big Tex and go to parts, and it sends you to the dealer, and they don't have anything listed on there. So that's what I'm working on right now. I want to make these ramps twice as wide. So these here are about 15 inches, so I'm going up to about 32 inches. And I also want to put some expanded metal on there for better traction. So that's what we're working on right now. So instead of trying to cut all this like I've done in the past, I just went up to the metal place, told them my dimensions, and they cut a bunch of parts for me. So it's kind of like a, trailer ramps, some assembly required. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm trying to make some bigger, better ramps. They're going to be really big and really heavy, but they're going to be much more safe. So that's what I'm going for. One thing I do like about these ramps is that they're nice and long, and they're made out of C-channel. So the edges are made out of C-channel. The stringers are made out of angle iron, so I don't like the angle iron. So I've got all C-channel for the new ramps. I'm going to space the stringers similarly to what I've got there. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the ramps 1 foot longer. So these are about 6 feet long, a little over 6 feet, and the next ones are 7 feet. Okay, if you do the math, I've got 84 inches here. Each one of these stringers is 3 inches, and I've got 10 of those. So there's 54 inches, and you've got 10 stringers, so divide that by 9. I should be about 6 inches apart on my stringers. And so there's a little 6-inch block, so I want to lay these things out and see how we do. I'm back here working on these trailer ramps for my new dump trailer. And I ordered some hooks here. These hooks right here they were on the PJ Trailer website, and I ordered them like 2.5 weeks ago, and I never heard back. And I emailed, and they said that they were cutting them, and I asked if they could upgrade my shipping because it was taking so long, and they ghosted me. So I'm gonna try to get some hooks made. I had already purchased these when I was doing my fold down ramps on my utility trailer, and so I think if I just cut this off right here, I can turn this into a hook. So that's what I'm working on right now. I've got my plasma cutter right here. This thing is kind of a piece of crap. I'm looking to get rid of it, and hopefully it'll cut through this and I can move on. So Ronald and I were over here painting these things. I went with bright yellow for the ramps, and still not sure if this is going to work quite right for my concrete buggy to load up onto, but we're going to find out here shortly. And that should go right there. So I think that's what my hook is going to look like. Of course the ramps are upside down right now, but you get the idea. So let me cut 3 more of these. So here's what I just cut, and there is what came with the trailer. So I think this is going to work out pretty well. I just want to position them in the same orientation that they are in the ramps that came with the trailer. So that looks pretty good right there. Okay, so I think that's going to work. Now, one major consideration with these ramps, which I'm sure you've already noticed, is weight. So I thought about buying a aluminum welder and learning how to do that, but I just went with steel, my regular welding tools and whatnot. So this is hopefully going to work out pretty well and be a lot more stable for the concrete buggy. You always want your channel or your angle facing up so you get just a lot more grip on it. So I also made the ramp a little bit longer than the original ones to try to ease that angle. So I can't wait to try the concrete buggy on this and see if it's going to work. So these are definitely 2-person ramps. So let me get the rest of that thing welded, get the other side on there, and then we'll check back. Okay, so that angle is still pretty steep for this thing. I think if you've got a load of dirt in it, and that'll be enough counterweight so you won't tip backwards like that. But then when you're going to back down it, you'd have to get off. So I want to lift these up maybe with a little platform of some sort and see if that may improve things. Again, the whole object of this is to do this safely. And so that's why I went with such big, huge, gnarly ramps. And I also wanted to try, you know what, let's try lifting the bed up a little bit. That might be the ticket right there. All right, let me try that. That may be all we needed right there. I tried lifting up the dump trailer a little bit, and then I tried adding this wooden platform at the bottom, but nothing was really helping to alleviate the angle on this thing. And it turns out that the concrete buggy is weighted such that when it's fully loaded, it's pretty stable. And so trying to climb up on this platform and then climb up on the ramps, it was just a little bit more sketchy. And so I said, okay, let me just go ahead and get these ramps finished, and we'll try loading the buggy with a full load of dirt in it. And so you're going to see here in a second, and if you've already seen my latest video, you saw that that worked really well. And so here I'm just getting these things painted up and finished. I went with bright yellow because I'm envisioning this thing being parked on the street and us loading it, and so I just wanted it to be very, very bright and very visible. Those are pretty cool. I like those. I wanted to show you these scissor type locking chocks. And so this is like a wheel chock that goes in between the tires. And so all you do with this thing is you just ratchet it. It comes with this ratchet wrench here, and you just ratchet it until it's nice and tight in between the tires right there. And so this is just these were really expensive, but this is just another layer of protection and safety, I think, on this big dump trailer, not only for loading but also for when it's sitting on the street next to the customer's house. I got my ramps all painted up, and again, the main idea with this dump trailer is to be loading dirt into it on the street, and so I wanted these ramps really bright in coloration, so that's why I painted them bright yellow. So we are getting ready to go to a job tomorrow, and I wanted to see how my small mini excavator does loading up in this thing. This trailer came with rear stabilization jacks, but I want to try loading it without putting the jacks down, just to see how we do and see how the trailer does. So let's get this mini excavator loaded on here and see how it does. It turns out that I can't spin around when I'm in this dump trailer because the back of my machine hits the wall there. So my machine is not a zero swing machine, and so you see me checking both sides right there, and it's just not going to happen. So I've got to, if I want to put the boom and the dipper facing to the rear, I have to back out and then back up it. So that's what I'm doing here. Boy, those stabilization jacks work really well. That also saves the transmission on the truck. I never like loading a trailer when it's jerking and screwing around with the transmission on the truck. So I'm really, really excited about these things. I think I may have to order another set of those. All right, well, that didn't squat down too bad. This is a small machine here. So if I was loading my big excavator or my big skid steer, I may put those jacks down, but I think this is going to work just fine. And these ramps are really nice too. You always want the angle pointing up so that the tracks can grip on it. The ramps that came with it over here, they have the angle facing down so your tracks can't get a grip on that. I don't know why they do that way, but it's terrible. So those ramps are also really thin, and I'm just not all that keen on trying to load up a huge piece of equipment with little tiny ramps. So these are definitely two-person ramps. They're enormous, they're super heavy, but they're safer. So that's the end of that.
What you talking about? Nice. Walk it up and walk it down. Hey, I'm down with that. Jeremy wrong. I thought it had a gasoline motor in this.
Nope, it's electric. I'll try to pull out from under it.
Okay, that thing, that lifted a lot of tongue weight off of there.
Yeah, here you go. Just aim it. I'm gonna fall forward slowly.
All right, boss. Yeah. Okay, you're gonna dump dirt in the road. A little bit more, a little bit. Okay, hold it right there.
That was the first and only load I've dumped with this dump trailer. And so it's a little bit redundant to the capacity I already have with having two of those small dump trucks. But the main reason I wanted to get this thing was to be able to load it with the concrete buggy like you saw us doing. And so it worked pretty well for that. The other thing I envision using this dump trailer for is when I'm doing French drains, taking a load of gravel in the dump truck and pulling the trailer empty behind it. And as I dig out the French drain, I can put the dirt in the dump trailer and load it up, and then I can unload the dump truck full of gravel into the French drain. So it's a little bit redundant with what I've already got, but I think it's going to work out really well for me and give me a little bit better capacity to get jobs done quickly.